Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Palecast episode number 4 Dem. I am Case, but you guys can all call me Whitey if you so choose. I'm actually re-recording this. This is the first time I've done it. I tried to record this on my way to the mall. I was doing some last minute Christmas shopping, um, but it was kind of weird, like driving and stuff, so it didn't come out that great. So this is the only time that I'll be doing this, probably. Uh, Does anybody else, real quick before we get started, anybody else, when somebody lets you into their lane and you give them the little wave to say, whatever, does anybody else actually, like, out loud say, like, thank you? Like the dude is, like, a car behind you, can't hear anything that you're saying, can't even see you mouth out the word, but I still always say it. I don't know, I just thought of that today. Yeah, so like I just said, I did some last minute shopping today. And last week on Twitter, people were saying like, "Oh my god, going last minute shopping." And I was like, "You still have a full fucking week. Like I do the real deal, all right? I'm about to exchange presents with my girlfriend in like 45 minutes and I just got done buying her stuff. All right, that is last minute like men. That is how we do it, all right? Uh so at least I got that out of the way. I'm actually really happy that that got done with because I was really worried about some people. So last week, so as mentioned on episode 1, I'm really into stand up. I always have been ever since like the days of Friday night stand up on Comedy Central. It's always been something that I wanted to do, but I've never really felt like I'd be right for it. Whenever I have to say anything important in front of a group of people, my face always turns like bright red, like I look like I'm gonna pop or something, and my vision gets kind of blurry and stuff. So that's why I talk into my phone on YouTube. But I want to check out a comedy club, so I found this one. It's in New Haven. They advertised it as the only comedy club in Southern Connecticut, and I went with a crew last week to check it out. It was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. It's in the middle of the ghetto, a little bit, I think. On the way there, my friend Joe was in the back seat. I was driving. He was behind me, and he said, "Dude, I just want to see people bomb. Like, I hope that I see somebody bomb." And I was like, "Joe, we're going to an open mic night. 2 out of 3 of these people are going to bomb, and they are going to bomb hard." And for the most part, I think that I was pretty spot on with that. Uh, but so we go inside, and they give you like for admission, you get a drink ticket, which is cool. It's $5 to get in. You get free entertainment. You get a beer. So we sit down, and Joe leans over to me and he goes, "Dude, that girl is a notepad. I think she's gonna do it." And he was like laughing at her. And basically, ever since I've been doing these, I've been carrying around a notepad and writing down things that I think are funny, basically over the course of a week. So in that moment, I had to be like, "I know, right? What a fool! That bitch. Get her out of here. Escort her out of the building." Uh, but then, yeah, there was like 2 out of 3 people sucked. Um, it was just a weird place. We're going back tonight, so I mean it was fun, but a lot of new people, and I'm thinking that like I noticed something while they were going up. Everybody gets like 5 minutes, and then in between, the host of the night would come out and he would say either like a joke or just introduce the next person. Like, "Coming to the stage now, very funny guy. Give it up for Jack. Whatever, something, some guy." And then he would shut the microphone off. So if the next person was coming up didn't know what was going on, they would spend a couple minutes, like not a couple minutes, but they would spend a little while like trying to get the thing to work. Like the whole, "Is this thing on?" And then you got people in the back going like, "Turn it on, asshole!" Like, and all this shit. So I personally thought that it was like a hazing thing. Like, you don't tell the new guys that they have to do something, which, I mean, you can already imagine how terrifying it would be to do stand up like that. And then, like, the first thing that you do when you get up is you just clearly have no idea what you're doing. And I mean, I just felt so bad for these people. I mean, one guy, his whole act, well, not really an act, they only had 5 minutes. So, like, his, I guess, air quotes, like, set thing was basically him saying, "I'm straight, but I'm gay, but I can't be gay, so I'm straight." And that's not like a, that's not like it wasn't funny. It just sounded like this dude was having an emotional crisis. And I mean, I've been listening to these comedy podcasts where it's like comedians interviewing other comedians about comedy, and they all talk about how they had like a rough, not really like a rough childhood, but they just didn't fit in right, or they were, whatever, and they think that that's what led them to comedy. I'm thinking that this guy heard something like that and was like, "Oh, I've never fit in. I must be a comedian." But really, he's just struggling with his own personal identity. Like it was really that was the only part that was really hard to watch. That, oh yeah, and I forgot that. And there was this one kid that he was just like very like and this was one that forgot to turn on the microphone. Okay, so he spent like 30 seconds dealing with that, and they're yelling like, "This is counting against your time," and all this crap. And then the kid is talking about how he was talking about how he's such a bad person because when he was a kid they were writing letters to Santa and he wrote that he wanted a big dick. But like the kid was just so awkward and shit. Like he looked like he grew up, like was raised in the basement of a church or some shit like that. And I would never heckle somebody because obviously I have a great deal of respect for what they're trying to do, and I can put myself in their shoes very easily. So I would never heckle the kid, but I just felt like, just asking just very politely, like, "Hey man, have you ever left your house before?" Because I don't even know how to describe, like, just his mannerisms were off. It was like a small child in like a young adult's body. Very weird. And then while we're sitting there, my girlfriend got up to go to the bathroom, and the guy on stage was like, "Hey, are there any girls out there?" And he was like looking for somebody to single out in the audience and like start talking to them to set up one of his jokes. But then he was like, "Oh, okay, there's no girls here, shit." Like, and I looked around and I was like, this room contains some of the weirdest people I've ever seen, and none of them are girls. And it's given off like this really bad like rape vibe. And right before I like got up to like quick run and check to make sure that nothing horrible was occurring, she just came in and sat down next to me. But still, like, weirdest fucking place. And not one of the comedians, so-called comedians, addressed it. Like, I don't know whether they're not allowed to make fun of the building because they're letting them go up on stage for a little while or whatever. But I feel like my first thing when I went up there, I would have been like, not one of you motherfuckers looks normal. It was like the cantina from Star Wars, like, burp, 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 and there's just like all these crazy ass looking people running around. But it was fun. We're going back tonight. See how that one goes. I definitely learned a lot, so I'll keep you guys posted if I end up doing anything like that. Last week, the other thing that I did in the middle of the week was I went with my friend from the podcast, Ryan, to go see The Battle of the Five Armies. And I already talked about how shitty that movie was and how disappointed I am with the Hobbit series on the Friends list. So you guys can go and check that out if you want. They're now up on iTunes, and I listen to mine on Podcast Republic, which is the app for Android. Just the Friends list. We just recorded episode 20. It should be posted very soon. So Ryan texted me. He said they're having this pre-showing of The Hobbit on Wednesday. Do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, man, sign me up. So I went over to his house after I got out of work, and we smoked cigars. They have one of these like those hunting rooms that's like inside but kind of outside. It's like a finished porch kind of a thing. And I found out that we can have cigars out there, which is awesome because that makes the winter cool. Oh man, excuse me. So we're out there and we're smoking cigars because it makes me feel like a man. And then he says, "Oh yeah, my dad's coming with us." And I was like, "All right, cool. I don't mind him. He's the man." So we get in the car and we're driving there. We're on our way to the movie theater, and I'm crammed in the back so that his dad can have shotgun. And the two of them start talking about all the bullshit that's been going on in Ferguson and all over the country with these cops killing unarmed civilians. And they're like going back and forth about it. And I consider myself to be grossly uninformed. So I tend to not form very strong opinions about these types of things. I feel like the last person that should, like, that their opinion should matter is like a 25-year-old like borderline asshole. So I mean, I definitely feel like they overstepped their grounds, especially in the Eric Garner case. But I was keeping my mouth fucking shut. All right. Ryan's dad is very successful. He owns his own business, and anytime that there's kind of like a paper trail to prove that somebody is smarter than me, I do not say a fucking word around them. You know, speak when spoken to kind of stuff. Uh, so he's going on and on about how the cops, you know, we don't deal with what they deal with every day. So who are we to judge them? And we have the benefit of hindsight where we're watching a tape, but he's actually living this encounter with the guys. And you know, he made some really good points, but he was clearly on the side of no indictment. Okay. And personally, before this, like I said, I didn't form any strong opinions, but I considered myself to be on the other side of things. Of you clearly have evidence of a man that is not being violent. He wasn't exactly complying with what they were saying to do, but he definitely wasn't. He definitely didn't deserve to die. Okay. Um, so he's going on and on, Ryan's dad, and I'm just sitting in the back, very quiet. And you know, finally said like, "So, Case, like, what do you think? Like, am I crazy? Am I onto something here? Like, what do you think?" And I immediately went into yes man mode. Yeah, I was just like, "Oh yeah, you brought up some really good points. I think that you know you're a very smart guy and all this stuff." Because personally, I'm getting pretty tired of asking Mr. Cheadle, you know, telling him that they don't have the kind of celery that he wants and all that bullshit. So I'm thinking maybe if I suck up to Mr. Rosamondo enough, one day there's a hope for like some nice, juicy, delicious employment. Uh, so I was going that route for a little while, and I said, you know, you brought up some really good points and stuff. The only thing is that specifically in the Eric Garner case, if you have video footage of somebody that is not being violent being killed, then you know if that's not enough to indict the officer, then where is the line? Like, where do you draw it? Like, just give me, you know, stone cold proof of like where that shows. Like, in my mind now at this point, it's like they would have to have all this on camera. Okay, is the suspect stripping down butt ass naked, being tossed a pair of handcuffs, attaching them to himself, then hog tying himself, and then the officer comes over and like raises the suspect up over his head and just like banes him, like just drops him down and cracks his back and kills him that way. And then maybe there's like a chance of an indictment. I don't know how far this is going to get, but like I said, I'm grossly uninformed. So if I just said anything really ignorant, you know, be sure to let me know. Make fun of me in the comments if you guys want. I don't give a fuck. But so I'm saying all of this to them, and we got to the movie theater. And we're getting out of the car, and I'm going on and on about how, you know, no, I don't feel that the two people that were killed were done so out of any kind of racial motivation or anything. And we walked by this gigantic black dude. Like, I'm 6'5", and this guy made me feel like a child. All right, this gigantic black dude with like a stars and stripes, like do-rag looking fucking thing, like some kind of like a skull cap or whatever, and like this big coat, gets out of his car, and now we're like walking to the movie theater in like a pack. And I just got done saying, you know, oh, there's nothing racial about it. We live in a post-racial society and all this shit. And we didn't say a fucking word the whole walk into the mall. So let me know what you guys thought. This has been take 2 of what is this thing called? Palecast. I'd like to say thank you to all my Palestinians, and I'll see you guys next time.